The arrest report says, upon investigation, JSO was also given surveillance video showing McGowan abusing this 5-month-old boy, hitting him repeatedly, among other acts, in the clubhouse of her apartment complex just days before the child's death. Action News Jax's law and safety expert Dale Carson is a former FBI agent and police officer with decades of experience. He says this report paints the picture of a woman incapable of controlling her emotions.
Clearly, the behavior of the mother in this case is, well, it's tragic is what it is. I mean, it clearly is someone who has no ability to control her emotions, no impulse control.
Tanaya McGowan in Jacksonville took to social media after the incident, posting photos of what appears to be her now deceased child, saying the hospital still wouldn't tell her what happened. According to the arrest papers, McGowan also told investigators the baby had never been taken to the doctors after his birth, something Carson says is typical and usually intentional in the case of an abused or neglected child.
If a child had been in medical care, clearly they would have foreseen what the prognosis might have been if the child wasn't properly cared for, and they are obligated under the law to contact law enforcement and to disclose these issues.
Carson says in a case like this, with the alleged combination of neglect and abuse ending in the death of a child, that typically carries up to 30 years in prison.
What's up, guys? As y'all saw from that clip, this woman right here on the screen right now starved her 5-month-old son to death. Yes, she did that. Let's go ahead and get into this. A 23-year-old mother in Florida was arrested for allegedly beating and starving her 5-month-old son to death. Tanaya Nicole McGowan was taken into custody last week and charged with 1 count each of child abuse and child neglect over the infant's death, court records reviewed by Law and Crime Show. According to an arrest report, medical personnel with Jacksonville Fire and Rescue at approximately 6:17 p.m. on December 11 responded to a 911 call regarding an unresponsive infant at a residence located in the 14000 block of Duval Road. Upon arriving at the scene, first responders located the infant and transported him to University of Florida Health. He was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at the facility. At approximately 8:45 p.m., deputies with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office were dispatched to the hospital, where the staff told them that the deceased child's mother, later identified as McGowan, had left the building right after her son was pronounced dead, the document states. While the results of the autopsy were still pending when the arrest report was filed, the medical staff told a detective that the child was emaciated, weighing only 7 pounds at the time of his death. The detective on the scene described the boy as appearing extremely malnourished to the point that the victim's stomach was caved and his ribcage protruded. The victim's face was thin and his cheeks were sunken in, the detective wrote. A medical examiner determined that the infant was severely dehydrated and malnourished, finding there was no evidence of food in the child's stomach or intestines. And as we saw in that first clip, that baby definitely, you can tell that baby was definitely not eating a lot of food. You can tell that's not what a healthy baby looks like. Investigators located McGowan at her home, where she allegedly provided written consent for the scene to be processed. Inside, detectives say they found the home cluttered with little to no furniture. There was only a single container of baby formula and 2 bottles in the home, the report states. Okay, so let me get this straight. So she's an OnlyFans girl. So I don't know obviously how much she was making on there, but usually when you see a lot of girls on OnlyFans, they usually are making at least somewhat bank. But I'm assuming this is one of those cases where a girl isn't making that type of money. Because if you don't barely have any furniture in your home and a couple bottles of baby formula, that kind of says a lot right there. In an interview with investigators, McGowan allegedly said that she put her son down at around 8 p.m. the previous night. She woke up at 11 a.m. but did not check on the infant for another 3 hours, at which point she assumed the boy was still asleep. McGowan allegedly said that she fell asleep again, waking up at around 6 p.m. and making a bottle. She made an 8-ounce bottle and went to wake the victim, but he was unresponsive according to the report. McGowan stated that the victim's eyes and mouth were open. He was pale and cold to the touch. Oh no, that's. The manager of McGowan's apartment complex spoke to detectives and expressed concern for the well-being of the victim. The manager informed investigators that McGowan on December 6th was inside the complex common area when people heard slapping sounds. Well, I guess that's the child abuse part right there. They looked into the common area and found Tanaya McGowan with the infant and another small child. That's interesting. Surveillance footage of the incident provided to investigators allegedly showed the following. Tanaya McGowan can be seen lying the victim on a couch and then walks away. The victim is covered in a baby blanket. The arrest report states McGowan returns to the victim, picks him up, and then forcibly slams him back onto the couch. She grabs the victim by the head and face and forcefully twists the victim's head to the side. She then covers the victim's head with the blanket and begins to forcibly strike the victim on the back repeatedly with an open hand. Why? McGowan then allegedly grabs the victim by the face and twists his head before again covering him with the blanket and striking him forcibly on the back. Finally, she is allegedly shown taking a large throw pillow from the couch and putting it over the infant's head before walking away. What in the world is wrong with people, bro? You're doing this to a baby who didn't want to, who you allow into this world, and this is what you do to him. That's insane. McGowan allegedly told investigators that she had never brought her son to a doctor since his July birth. She further claimed that she noticed the child was sliming down, but allegedly said she thought he only looked like that way because he was growing in length. What? She is currently being held on $1.5 million bond and is scheduled to appear at the Duval County Courthouse on January 5th, which would be 2023.
Carson also noted the fact that the abuse was memorialized, as he called it, or caught on video. A court would be more likely to go for the maximum sentence if there is a conviction. But he says cases like this don't typically go to trial. Instead, they typically end in plea deal agreements.
And when it comes to these type of stories, especially when it involves babies, it's like, why do people do this to babies? Like, they're harmless. They're harmless. Like, they can't do nothing. But yet you still have people abuse them for no reason. Because you can't give a good reason to abuse a baby. Make them starve. There's no reason you can give behind that. And then you brought them into this world. For they didn't ask to be here, but you brought them to this world. A terrible place. And you don't even got yourself together. And now you're, the way it looks, I guess, taking on the baby. But yeah, y'all tell me y'all thoughts about this, man. This is just a sad all-around story right here. Give me y'all thoughts in the comments, and yeah, I'll catch y'all in this video. Peace.